had a lot of conversation about Nnamdi Kanu's situation, including revealing to the Nigerian people that his trial was pre-planned. Everything that eventually played out on the day of his conviction had already been exposed by me on November 5. Maybe we are only lucky that we fought a bit through the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest to have saved Nnamdi Kanu from a hangman's noose. They were going to sentence him to death. That was the plan. And you can check my Twitter and Facebook posts on November 5, because I was giving that information in advance. They also, as a result of that, got very upset that we had a protest in Abuja. They shot at us, tear gas, arrested his lawyers, myself, later, and took us to the court outside of, within Abuja, but, near Kuje, and sent us to prison for 4 days. After we were granted bail on a Friday, the judge who was supposed to sign off on our bail paper ran away. He didn't come back until Monday. They were already setting the agenda for Nnamdi Kanu's conviction, or whatever they were going to do. But when they realized that maybe this is not popular or not going to be popular, they kind of pulled back a bit and did the life imprisonment. And they have also realized that even the life imprisonment has not stopped his life or the life of what he stood for. Because it came at a time that, like I've always said, he prophetically predicted some of the things that are happening in Nigeria now. And when he was eventually convicted, those things have come full circle in terms of terrorism, the unchecked activities of the people you call terrorists or bandits who have been given preferential treatments in Nigeria over time. They always have the right, they can drive around in their convoys with vehicles seized from the Nigerian army. One of them wore a uniform of a police commissioner, an assistant police commissioner he killed. He wore his uniform to town. They were carrying their magazines and their heavy-duty weapons and ammunition and addressing press conferences. I insist that till date, the only evidence that was adduced against Nnamdi Kanu in this trial, the whole trial, was that he had a microphone and he had a radio transmitter and his underwear, both top and bottom, that he found in a hotel. Every other evidence, the claim was against him, were things that were circumstantial. Oh, he said that the people should kill police, even when he was not in the country. Oh, he was the one who made NSAS to become what it is. But there are celebrities in Nigeria who claim they started NSAS. I started NSAS in Abuja. And I was the one who gathered a lot of people that joined NSAS by calling them individuals, some of the celebrities. So if those ones are being celebrated for doing NSAS, why is Nnamdi Kanu being sent to prison for life? Just for speaking on the day of NSAS to say, oh, do this or whatever they said, he said. So everything they accuse him of are things that they had no evidence caused any problem that they adduced caused. They even accused him of killing Gulag while he was in detention. I know something about being in DSS detention. You have zero access to communication. Even if you smuggle something and they have a way of monitoring you. So how could somebody like that be sentenced to death? And a terrorist from one of the Boko Haram commander was sentenced to 20 years in prison. That is why Nigeria is where it is today. Some people in our animal farm, some animals are superior to others. And until that is addressed, until the justice applies to everybody in Nigeria, you are not going to get peace without justice. That's what so many of us have been saying, whether you like to hear it or not. But I feel it has come full circle now, that even those who felt like they can bamboozle others by saying, oh yeah, he did this, he's a bad person. They are now dealing with the real bad people. Unfortunately, though, those real bad people have cover. They have immunity.
When I travel for vacation, people, Nigerians in diaspora, told me this is how the judgment is going to be. That the federal government is bent on convicting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by all means. I thought that they were joking. So, but when the thing now played out, I was embarrassed that such a thing is coming from my own jurisdiction, where I'm coming from, as a member of, as a lawyer, and a member of a legal profession. So I felt embarrassed. But in the other way around, I also expected it based on what I had. But whichever that is the case, it's the judgment of the courts. No matter how stupid a judgment you feel that it is, it must be obeyed. They have convicted him. In fact, of course, you know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been persecuted before, which journalists that has been persecuted. He has suffered the highest injustice somebody can suffer in the whole world. You are aware. Because of Nnamdi Kanu, they have turned judiciary upside down. They have turned our criminal jurisprudence upside down. It is the case of Nnamdi Kanu that somebody was kidnapped from a foreign country back to Nigeria without following the law, and nobody said anything about it. It's the case of Nnamdi Kanu, where Court of Appeal, unanimous. I'm not talking about customary court. I'm not talking about area court. Customary Court of Appeal, second to the highest court, gave an order after hearing the judgment and discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and ordered that on no condition should anybody try him because of the extraordinary rendition. Federal government look at Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal, you are talking rubbish. We cannot obey it, and they never obeyed it. They kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We succeeded in making noise in pages of newspaper and in media houses, and they never obeyed it. Rather, they now use what we call state of execution that is applied in civil matter. They now use it to stay that execution after 8 days. They were with him after 8 days in a country that is running democracy, in a country that is operating rule of law. Now they now met the same Court of Appeal. That Court of Appeal that said obey, release him. The Court of Appeal did not say, are you still with this man? The man that will ask you to release, you are still with him. The same Court of Appeal accepted that. They still accepted that particular state of a proceedings and went to Supreme Court. Guess what happened in Supreme Court? Supreme Court now look at all the whole issues. No, yes, it's true. The way a man of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought in this country was wrong. Yes, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail. The court ought not have revoked his bail. The court is even biased, written in black and white. The manner of federal government to use Operation Python dance to go and attack his house and demolish and kill several persons there and left with some corpses was wrong. Supreme Court mentioned all these things. Yes, we have also, from our own submission, we have also discovered that the charge upon one of the charges upon which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being charged was brought on a wrong law. Now, but the only thing is that they should continue with the trial. Whatever objection you people have, the defendant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whatever objection you people have, you can raise it at the court. But what do you call it? The prosecution go and amend that particular count charge to reflect in the correct law, so that the trial should continue. I don't know whether you know what I'm saying. These are the orders of the Court of Appeal. Do you know what they did? The federal government only choose only one. Do you know the one they choose? The one of continuing with the trial. They refused to amend the law.
Yes. Let me first state this, that I'm not here to find ethnic differences. But I have said, and I will restate here, that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. And this, of course, emanated historically from the Civil War, where we claim that it was no vanquished and no victor. But ultimately, there was a vanquished person. If you had 10 million naira before the war, you are giving 20 naira after the war. You are the one vanquished. It is said to you, you cannot be promoted in the army because you can't be trusted. You are the one vanquished. If you cannot get promoted within the civil service because you can't be trusted, you are the one vanquished. To come to your question, and just to say that anybody who says that an Igbo man is not treated differently is just lying. That's the truth. Well, all of us know this. That's a big elephant in the room. And that is what I said earlier when I said, well, there's a Boko Haram guy who has been killing, beheading people, and he was sentenced to 20 years. And the guy who uses a microphone and a radio transmitter is sent to prison for life. They could have sentenced him to death if something hadn't taken place. Then to go to your question about the issue of how the regional power brokers behaved. I was in the midst of it. I was the one calling them off for protest. And I knew what I went through in the hands of the governors, House of Rep members, senators in the Southeast. They all flatly and vehemently, without speaking, refused to encourage their people to participate in anything that could peacefully. It was a peaceful protest planned. So who did we rely on? We relied on those in the markets to close down their markets. But the major leaders, including the deputy speaker, he came out shamelessly asking that the Igbos should sit at home and you should show that you are cowards. There's no cowardice in peaceful protest. The reason is that they believe that Nnamdi is too powerful politically, and that if he's released, he will have some impact on their political influence and popularity in the zone. They know that they are not popular, but they have all relied on the center to get whatever they want, to keep control over the southeastern political people. And they know that they are running out of time. If Nnamdi Kanu is released, that would not continue. We no longer enjoy what I enjoy now. Whatever it is, whether it is fake or real popularity or power, they will lose it. They know it. Because I will reveal to you today that one of the biggest issues with the Nigerian state and Nnamdi Kanu is that they couldn't get him to promise that he would renounce his agitation for Biafra. That's the biggest problem. That was his main crime. They said it, if they even proposed to me that I should go tell him to enter his defense, and if he enters his defense, then if they release him, he should promise that he will form a political party and participate in politics. And if he can do that, they will have no problem with him. He said, no, I want the Biafran, I want my region to be different from Nigeria because Nigeria doesn't, cannot support our aspiration for greatness. Now, my caveat is that I am opposed to breaking up Nigeria. I'm a Pan-Africanist. But I have seen, read, and known that it is not a crime for people to seek self-determination. So the regional leaders we are talking about, I called all of them, I called all the governors, at least I know Soludo. I used to be able to reach him. I mentioned here that the governor of his state, Abia, was a columnist at Sahara Reporter. So I called a lot of them. No one of them picked my call. No one of them has called me back because what we want is not what they want. They want what they call a political solution. A political solution is that you jail him first and then we'll beg you to free him on certain conditions. So that tag of ex-convict, they wanted it badly. All of them are agreed on that. The question is, how did they release him? Nobody can tell you when they will release him. They don't plan to release him because of his refusal to endorse their political agenda in the Southeast. That is the problem. They don't want to hear his name. But the people of the Southeast, the regular people, are in love with him. And we've seen that with what happened in protests, how markets were closed across the country without a whimper. And they still are going to fight to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is free. I will still fight to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is free from this unjust incarceration into which he's been thrown. And don't forget, and I'll say this in closing, that this is the same way Ken Saro-Wiwa was treated in 1995, this is 2025. I guess every 20 years, or is it every 30 years, Nigeria needs a victim, either in prison or in the Golo time. And guess what? It happened in November 2025. Ken Saro-Wiwa was November 1995. 30 years later, the country hasn't learned its lessons.
So when the judgment was read, I printed it. So I went to the SSS on that fateful Friday to go and give it to him. So on getting to that place, they said, he was no longer there. That DSS at Airport Road, that he was moved out of that place this ceremony. I said, to where? They said I should go to headquarters. And I contacted other lawyers and his brothers. I said, Mazi is no longer here. I don't know where they have taken him to. So they have directed me to go to headquarters. So they said, okay, am I going to headquarters? And I said, you push, meet me there. So all of them came. We went to headquarters. So we waited for hours until the deputy director of operations, and the director legal and some other officers, they called us and said that they have taken him to Sokoto, that they have landed. I said, but you should have notified his family members so that they can have a word or two before going there, before you take him there. At least somebody who's going to prison should be able to get himself arranged, especially he's on a special diet because of his health. His drug, the brother wanted to even bring for him that day. So personally, I felt bad and I expressed it there. They said that it's order from above. I don't know what they mean by above. But of course, we have to make arrangements of moving. So it was late that day and there's no way that we'll get to Sokoto. So the following morning, we moved to Sokoto. We went there. So we get to Sokoto prison. So after the necessary protocol and all this, so I saw him. So we now narrated how they brought him to that side with a private, one private presidential small jet and took him there. They did not even tell him where they're taking him to. It was when he landed in Sokoto, he now discovered that he's a Sokoto airport in Sokoto. So they took him to prison. Said, okay. So I now gave him the judgment, hard copy of the judgment and all this. And so he gave directives to the brother what to do. But the challenges he was having is that because he has 90 days to file his appeal, and the judgment was delivered on the 20th, and today is 26. Out of the 90 days, 6 days has gone. So, and there are some appeal he filed. When my lord overruled him in that motion he filed, he filed appeal and transmitted record. He also filed another one to Supreme Court. I hear them saying. So, and it was on record. You can see in the social media when he went to Supreme Court to file, when he was going to Court of Appeal, has been doing it on his own because he has no lawyer. And there's some affidavit he wants to pose on his own. He can't do it in Sokoto Court of Appeal. So he have to come here. So the application has been made before the court, asking my lord, I don't know whether they're going to have a private jet that will be bringing him anytime I want to file something from Sokoto to Court of Appeal here and finish, they take him back. I don't know how they are going to do it because my lord said that a secured place, and one cannot tell me that Sokoto is more secured than Abuja. But whichever that is the case, I hear them saying, so that is the position. He's handicapped as I speak to you now. He cannot even do anything. He cannot even, in fact, the Federal High Court, based on that appeal he filed, the other appeal, interlocutory appeal he filed, the Federal High Court has also served him summon. They have raised a summon that he should come to settlement of record on the 28th. So nobody can settle a record for him because he never asked anybody to do it for him. He's doing it on his own. So a motion has been filed, and for him to be brought back to Abuja or any nearby distance, so that it will be easy for him to be filing his appeal. So that is the position now. So that is the position. So I think I've addressed that issue of not putting defense. I hear them saying. So I said not putting defense is should have been shown the judge a red flag. I hear them saying you should have been very, very careful.
So what was the outcome of your meeting, and did he have any message for his followers?
Of course. You know him now, he's committed on what he's doing. He's committed, can't be intimidated. Let us hand him over capital punishment and send him to Sokoto. He will be forced to calm down. You can't, see, let me tell you, my dear brother, you can't kill somebody that you never created. You can't remove somebody that is fighting a just cause for whatever reason. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the thing there is that they're trying to kill, pull him down, do everything. You don't do all those things. When Abacha killed, what's the name, Sarawuwa, does that stop agitation in Niger Delta? It wasn't it. What stopped agitation in Niger Delta? It's not Yaradua. Through what? Through amnesty and dialogue. A dialogue. And he has achieved it. When somebody is saying that, I want to go, I want to be on my own, I want to exercise my right of this thing, just like P2B said, hear the person now, my brother, come. I'm not the president. I've been sworn in. Can we talk? I've never been the president before. Now that I'm the president, can we talk? I was not the person who arrested you. Can we talk? What is that? Okay, can you just give me...
Well, all right. The truth is that there are too many perspectives to this judgment. Yes, a lot of persons have attached emotion, while some are biased and have attached sentiment to the judgment of Justice Omotosho. Well, whatever it takes, this has actually caused a whole lot of reactions in the country. But then, and of course, it has hampered and tampered the faith that of which people will have on the justice system of Nigeria. Why a whole lot of persons are arguing that the judgment was biased and it has already been orchestrated to frustrate the culprit, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Some other person has maintained that in law, judgment is not sentimental and does not work with emotion. That it is, according to what you are able to prove and defend. That of course, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have entered his defense, it would have been a bit more easy and better for him. Well, whatever the case is right now, it seems that all hope is getting lost, and almost every effort to get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out of this situation is being overwhelmed. And at this point, the masses are at the mercies of the presidential pardon. Maybe that is the only option that is remaining. Let us know what you think about the whole judgment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the whole scenario and the system. Now he has been taken to Sokoto, where many people think that it's an act of wickedness because they have taken Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out of the reach of the jurisdiction where he would have had people come around him to assist him in one thing or the other, or to reach him. But just so he will be a bit more frustrated, he was taken this far. Anyway, let us know what you think about the whole scenario, about the whole judgment. What do you think?